untouchable, a new animal. This is how legends are made.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jeremy. We're here with another little Patreon video for you guys. I wanted to cover round pen work. So it's now the off season. Congress is done. World Show's wrapping up. By the time you guys see this, it'll be over. So what we want to do is we want to get our horses ready for next season. So for me, what I try to do is use the off season as a good way to build up strength, build up muscle, build up consistency. Okay? So we use a lot of round pen work to do that. I'm going to start from the very beginning, what we do with our colts, our young horses, and we'll kind of move up the grades like we always do and make it a little bit more complicated, a little bit more advanced maneuvers, and show you guys different ways that we do it. So this will be my young horses, this will be my 2-year-olds. Every horse in my program will go through all of these maneuvers and get good at it. They take a long time though, right? This is not something that you're going to do for like 2 sessions of. You're not going to do for like 3 sessions of. This is like 2-3 months of doing this. What this will do for me is it'll make my lunging more effective. It'll make my horse get stronger and more consistent, because what we're doing really is taking the human element out of it. We're taking the human error out of the situation, and we're letting her figure it out on her own. So it's a great way to build up consistency. It's a great way to build up rhythm in our horse without us getting in the way. So if you're saying, you know, I'm not maybe the greatest rider in the world, but my horse is pretty talented, this is a good way to stay out of your horse's way and get to just kind of show off your horse's talent. It's a good way to evaluate what kind of horse you've got, so you know, like, is my horse, what are they missing, where aren't they giving? It's a good example of something that we start to do once they have kind of a foundation of giving to the bit and understanding what that pressure is. And you'll see how that goes as we get more advanced into this, how hard these maneuvers can be. All right, so it's going to build up a lot of strength, going to build up a lot of conditioning. More importantly than that, a lot of rhythm and good positioning. So our equipment of choice today, rubber snaffle. You guys can see that. Rubber snaffle. I don't want to use anything aggressive here that she might get scared of. I want to use something she can kind of lean against and trust. So it's a big fat rubber snaffle. It's also because that's the way we start our young horses. So every young horse gets a rubber snaffle on. So that's all we're using today. We want to be fair to her, so I don't want to intimidate her through this. I want her to learn it, figure it out on her own, and not be scared of it. The other piece we're using are my rubber ties. So these are the ones that are on our website. We've got the shorter ones, we've got the medium length one. We'll go back and forth between these two. I like those rubber ties a lot because I want them to have give, right? I want there to be give when she's doing this. I don't want to be forced into it. So I won't use draw reins right off the bat. When my horse gets a little more advanced, I can use draw reins or a lead rope. But in the beginning, I want to use those rubber ties. Those 2 links will get you a long way. So I'll show you how I use those and how I can change where I'm clipping on my saddle. Another option that you might have are these little tarp ties, because these are adjustable. So you can kind of keep in mind like where I was. We've got this one set on the 3rd hole right now. I can take this, unclip it, clip it to the 5th hole, and kind of keep an eye on how my horse is progressing. So if I want to make it a little harder the next day or the next week, there's my 7th hole, and I can kind of adjust these as we go. The only problem with that is they're not quite as strong as those rubber ties are. So if that horse pulls on it pretty hard, they're going to break it. So the big thing about this, if you're going to round pen your horse, I won't be using this. If you're going to round pen your horse, what you don't want to do is get stuck. The biggest thing that you have to do when you're round penning your horse is move your feet. All right, so you need to be ready to make some kind of fast moves if you have to, if your horse gets in a bad situation. We'll kind of go over like the different situations a horse can get into and how we can work our way out of them and go from there. So very basic colt stuff, what we do right off the bat. Rubber snaffle, this will be like within the first week. I know we covered this in a video a while back. I got chain over the nose. I'm going to take my longer rubber tie. I'll throw that one down for now. Longer rubber tie. I'm going to clip the 1 to the bit. Always going to go here first. I'll Turn sideways so you can see. Clip back to the bit. I'm going to ask her to give her face. I'll take this. We'll just draw her face over here. You see how soft and flexible she is, how light she is. Draw her face over. She's nice and soft right there. When I first work with my horse, it's going to go to the front ring of my saddle. The shoulder ring of my saddle. So I'll move her over. Maybe. Tough move to make. Yeah, it is first. Try again. You see how you don't get worked up, right? Just move your feet, move with them, so that she doesn't get scared. We'll come across here. You see how I have it clip to the front ring of my saddle, right there, the shoulder ring. We're going to clip that right to the bridle right here. We're going to ask for just a slight tip of her head. And we'll lunge our horse like this. So this is very basic colt stuff. We'll go around. We want her to give this bit pressure, put a little bit of angle in her. So this is from day one. She starts to get a little bit of angle in her. And I haven't lunged her yet, so she might be a little fresh, but that's all right. So a little bit of angle in her. Whereas she can't get her head to the outside. That's maybe the bigger piece. It's not so much that I have her head tipped to the inside, it's that she can't get her head to the outside. If she gets her head to the outside, she can counterbend to her circle, and that's not what I want. We want to teach our horse how to have good shape in the circle when we're going around. So you can kind of see how she's got her head to the inside, over her lead foot, when she's going around. So we're automatically, right off the bat, putting some bend in our horse, putting some shape in our horse right here. We're going to load off. You load here, you see where she can't get her head to the outside, got her head to the inside, going around. This looks really good. She's not challenging this at all. So when you first start this, if you young horse, what you might find is that they're pulling on this, to the outside, they're leaning over it, there's no slack in it, right? There's slack in this, you can see it wobbling around. So this is not very challenging for her, right? When you're working with your horse, you want it to be challenging. It's got to be a little bit difficult, but it's not going to learn anything. So right here, you can see where this is not challenging at all for her. So we can make this a little bit harder now. So because she's really soft on this, because she's not challenging that pressure at all, we'll break her down, and we'll make it a little bit harder. One of the big things when I lunge, before I move on to the next step, is I want to have a little bit of body control on my horse. So I want my horse to understand, when I go back by her hip, we're going to go forward. And when I step across her nose, we're going to come down. So right here, stepping back here by her hip, this is sending her forwards, and then moving across here is going to break her down. So you see, just taking a step, not even saying a word, breaks her down. So she's really got an eye and ear on me. You look at the inside ear of this horse, you look at the inside eye, it's always paying attention to me. She's focused on me, she's focused on her job, and then all my transitions can come from there. So I can step across, walk. Good. Good. You see me step across, bring her down, there's a leg and chew right there, that's what I'm looking for. So there's a horse that really understands what we're supposed to be doing here, ready to work. You're not going to get that right off the bat with your young horse. Okay? So I want to make sure you guys understand that's what you're looking for. Looking for down transitions where my horse softens, drops into it, relaxes her head and neck, and licks and chews. So whenever I go down transitions or down gears, that's what I'm looking for. Okay? So I'll stop her here. Now, this would be like the second, third day of my horse having a bridle on. We're going to introduce this strap. You see, I stop her, licking and chewing, nice and happy here. I go to pet her. She doesn't look away, doesn't rip away from me. Okay? When you move up to him, unflip him from the bit right away. Okay? Give him a break from that. Give him a chance to say, okay, good girl, like that. Now I'll come in the middle. And this is going to be like day 4 and 5 of my young horse. All right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take her and I'm going to clip her back to the back ring of my saddle. So she's going to be clipped from the bit to the back ring of my saddle. Now this is going to be a lot more severe than what we had when we were going around the lunge line. I'm not going to lunge her like this though. What I want her to do is I want her to follow her nose around the arena. So we're going to have her clip to the side. She's going to learn to cross her front legs over and listen to my body. Okay? And listen to my commands. I like this maneuver a lot for my young horses, okay? This is essentially tied around, right? For lack of a better term. So this is, when people tie their horses around, this is what they're doing, right? We don't tie our horses around and leave them in stalls, though, okay? The only time that I would ever do that is if I have a horse that's trying to drag me out of the arena back to the stall. Because I have to find a way to make the stall a less comfortable place to be. So that's going to be a short ride. That horse tries to drag me out of the arena. We go back to the stall. I'll tie it around for a little bit. I'll take it back out and I'll ride it. If it still wants to drag me back to the stall, I'll tie it around the stall, bring it back out and ride it. The second it comes out here and it wants to work, it doesn't want to drag me out of the arena, then we're good. We're never going to use that maneuver again. So that, in my mind, is the only time that you would ever tie a horse around and just let it sit for like 10 minutes. Okay? But if I'm ever going to tie a horse around, rubber snaffle, rubber strap. Okay? Going to be nice to him, and I'm going to watch him the whole time. I'm not going to leave him in the stall. Okay? So, not like those programs where you see people just leave them in their stall for 30 minutes, leave them in the arena for 30 minutes. I don't believe in that at all. But if I do have a horse that's trying to hurt me, and I stress that, trying to actively hurt me by dragging me out of the arena, which some horses will do, right? Horses with bad habits will do. We've got to make that stall a less comfortable place to be, and that's one of the best ways to do it. Right? So, little caveat there, I'm not tying horses around just to leave them and make them broke, right? That's shortcutting. We want flexibility here. So I'm going to give this horse a maneuver, all right? I'm going to give this horse something to think about. So now what she's got to do is she's got to cross over her right front over her left front, and I don't want her hip to spin out. So I'll pick up my whip. We're going to come around. I'm going to catch her right eye, right there. Push her right eye across. So if you watch the tip of my whip, what I'm going to do is catch her right eye, push her right eye across. Now you see her spinning her hip out. Catch her right eye, push her right eye across. Catch it with the tip of my whip, move it across. Catch the eye, move it across. Catch the eye. There's the stuff. Move that across, catch that eye, move her across. You see where I'm plugging to her? Not going to make this too difficult. What I really want her to do is just easy, calm little steps. Here, walk, step into it, come across, step into it. Good girl. Good girl. So here, if I get stuff like this, now this horse is pretty advanced, so she can make that right turn. I don't want her to make that right turn in the beginning, so I'm going to come across, push a little harder, catch this eye, move across. See how she's stepping wide right here? Take that right shoulder, move it across. Come across, move, right eye, step in. So she wasn't crossing over right there, so I popped the whip. So pay attention. She's up, come across, catch this eye. You see how good this horse is in indirect turns, right? She can take that shoulder right across there. A little more advanced for this maneuver. I like to tell young horses, before they learn indirect turns, so you're stepping towards me, she's kind of facing that side, come across. No. Catch that, push that back in, come across. Good girl. Now, don't challenge me, stay across. Get across there, good girl. Come back around. Catch his eye, good girl. You have to move your feet a little bit. Good girl. There's crossover. There. Now I'm watching how she's rushing through that. There, good girl. Like she listens to me. So I don't want her to run through that. I want her to think her way through. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. I want her to think her way through. I want her to think about what she's doing. Woo. Good. So what I'm looking for here is when I say the word whoa, she comes to a stop. Okay, looks at me, settles down. Your young horse is probably not going to stop right there. You'll learn a lot about your horse's personality in this maneuver. You'll learn a lot about the young horse's personality. So what we're really teaching our horse to do is really listen to me. I'm putting this horse in a bad spot for them, right? It's a tricky spot for them to figure their way out of. And what she's got to do is say, okay, I give up. You're in charge. You control my feet. You control when I stop. If I say whoa and my horse doesn't stop, I'll give her 2-3 tries, right? It's going to be whoa, whoa, whoa. If they don't want to stop, I'm going to kiss. And we're going to go around that circle pretty fast, okay? We're going to go around that circle pretty fast and make her move her feet until she wants to stop and stand still and accept that break. So what she's going to learn is, I'm the one in charge. I get to call the shots. I'll tell you when we're done. I want you to look for me to help you out of bad spots. So it's going to help us get a little bit of control on our young horse, get him a little bit more willing to work for us, because she's got to kind of figure her way out of this. The only way for her out of this position is me. Okay? The only way for her out of this position is me. So I want to make sure that she understands, if If you want out of here, you're going to have to pay attention to me. You're going to have to wait my commands. So see how she's rushing through that? I'm not going to let her come out of this until she makes her way through. Good. But see how she's not swinging her hip around this time? Her hip is staying up underneath of herself. She's really breaking in half well here. Good girl. Good girl. See how she's thinking through that? That's what I want to see. Just nice and calm. Your young horse, when you do this for the first time, probably not going to be this calm. So it really teaches our horse to be a little bit submissive towards us. Helps our horse understand that when you get in a bad spot, if you're going to get nervous, I need you to try to please me, right? Try to come across here, try to do the job for me. Good girl. Try to work for me. Listen to what I'm telling you. Whoa. See me say, whoa, I'll back up. She stops her feet immediately. Your young horse is probably not going to stop that well. All right? They're going to keep going around there because they're not paying attention. Right? They're not listening to you. So what we do here is we get a lot of control in the middle of our circle when we're lunging. This keeps me safe with my young horse. Also note how flexible this horse is, right? There's slack in the top. Okay? So see how flexible this horse is. This is not pulling at all. She's not challenging that at all. This is not difficult for her whatsoever. Right? So if it was difficult, she would be hanging all over that. You can see that rubber tie stretching right out. All right? This is not hard for her. She's flexible, she's soft, she's broke. So your young horse can hit that, he's going to try to pull on it, he's going to lean on it. We're going to get all that pull and lean on there right here. Okay? So this is a good maneuver. I like to do that maneuver and then ride my young horses. Okay? Kind of gets their mind right, gets them in the right frame of mind to go to work and really focus on what's happening in the middle, which gives Macy, when she goes to lunge me, a lot of control right here in the center. All right? So that's our grade school round pen work on our young horse. Okay? In the next couple of videos, we're going to go over how do we get our horses to get more flexible, how do we build more flexibility and more strength in the round pen, give you a couple advanced maneuvers that I'm working on personally with my horses. We've been working for a long time trying to figure out how can I get this horse to be soft and flexible and get really strong in the middle. Okay? So thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Inside me.